Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome once again to Mercy Fountain channel. And we are your hosts. I'm Emmanuel, and this is my lovely wife, Eddie.
Eddie's
Yeah.
here.
And today we'll be looking at a very special Bible character. That's the Gibeonites. So if you know the passage of the Bible that has the story of the Gibeonites, please drop your answer in the comment section below and sit tight while you enjoy the lessons from the Gibeonites. Yeah, so looking at the Gibeonites, Eddie, what do you have to say about them?
The Gibeonites were very deceptive. Oh, I think I have not seen such level of deception because that's top notch.
Wow.
Imagine deceiving a man of God, someone that hears from God. God speaks to him. They deceived Joshua, and they knew that God is going to destroy them. God had already given Joshua an express command that they should be destroyed.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
they knew about it, and then they disguised themselves as people that were coming from a far country that had no food, they had no place to stay, they had nothing. They dressed haggardly with rags, wearing dirty clothes, dirty shoes, stale bread. Everything was just off, and Joshua fell for it. Joshua didn't know that these ones were actually their neighbors, their backyard people. So
just imagine your own neighbors coming around to deceive you to such an extent, and you believe that they're coming from afar. Well, what baffles me is the extent to which they went in order to perfect their deception, to create that, character of people coming from a far and distant place. And wow.
I believe they must have sat down and they thought about this. They planned this so well, such that Joshua didn't even expect. He didn't even see it coming.
It also goes to show how well they knew the Israelites. These people had sat down to study the Israelites so well, such that they were able to strategize based on the knowledge they had about the Israelites. Do you know that in the same passage, when you read it, you're going to see in the very first and second verse of that chapter, you'll see that there was another country, in fact, set of kings from different nations, about 8 of them, or if I'm not mistaken, could be more. They actually came together to form a confederacy to attack Joshua and the Israelites, simply because they were afraid of being destroyed by the Israelites, having heard of what happened in Jericho and Ai. And they're like, no, this is not going to happen to us.
We're not going to sit down and watch these people come destroy us. So they had to come up with a plan.
Honestly.
But you see
one thing there. This first set, they were using a military strategy, whereas the Gibeonites were using wisdom.
But looking at the Gibeonites, that level of wisdom they displayed was, it's something that one can ponder about. Do you think that wisdom was godly, or can someone apply such wisdom?
Actually, that wisdom was not godly. It wasn't godly. But at the end of the day, there is something we can learn from them. Even if what they did was not the right thing they should have done, but we can learn one strategy from them. They actually had a plan. They strategized. Many people actually don't care about anything, especially Christians. They just leave things to chance.
Exactly.
But these guys, even as they were, not believers, yet they had a very sound plan. They strategized and they carried out their plan effectively till they got what they wanted.
Effortlessly.
Do you know that at the end of the day, even after that covenant was made, Joshua could not go back on that covenant. He couldn't kill them. And God actually honored that covenant. We see that in the case of Saul. When he killed them at some time, God punished him.
So Joshua had to use them as slaves. So that he would not go back on his word. So had to use them as slaves. So that this lesson is very striking. It's something that we as believers, we should ponder about it. In our daily dealings and daily activities. We should not be moved by emotions when we're trying to make decisions. We should rather have, think about something and then take it to God in prayers before we give in to whatever thing that comes our way. We should not be very emotional. Rather, we should act based on facts.
That's very true. And then if we look at another person in that story, we see Joshua. Joshua was a man that was, always led by God. But in this case, This is the second time that we are saying him not seek the face of God before going into something very important like that, or making a very important decision. So, I mean, these people just came in and they said all this. You didn't even ask God, should I make this covenant? You just immediately, just like you said, moving by emotion. And that's cost him a lot. Now, what are some of the consequences that we can see from the action of Joshua, the hasty action of Joshua to make that covenant with these people? Because later he found out that these people actually were not coming from a far country, they were his neighbors. And he called them out and he asked them, why did you beguile us? But already the deed has been done. He has made this covenant. He can't go against it. So what are some of these consequences we see from that action of Joshua?
Number one, Joshua was filled with regret. He regretted everything that he had done. He wished that he had gone to God first.
Yeah.
So the first thing we see there was that the regrets that he felt, and then he actually learned his lesson that he should prioritize listening to God first before making any decision. And that's very instructional, very instrumental. Whether it is a relationship, whatever thing you're going into, is it a business deal, whatever, we should learn to seek the face of God.
Very true.
To avoid issues like this or similar or different issues, whatever it is that the enemy might be plotting against us.
That's very true. In fact, we see that another reason why God actually did not want any of the hidden nations to remain was because he knew that the children of Israel were easily influenced. If you look at the story, you'll see that usually they fell beguiled, and they always loved worshiping idols of these other hidden nations. They were easily influenced, so to say, and God did not want that kind of situation, and so he told them to cut off. But now the very thing that God wanted to prevent came in. They actually started getting attached and all that.
So we have great lessons to learn here, and then as children of God, let's take everything that we have heard and then apply it to our hearts. It is not just in hearing, but it is also in putting it into practice. We should learn to take everything to God in prayers. Every decision, whatever it is, let's take it to God in prayers, and the Lord will help us.
Yeah, that's a great lesson. And I believe that you have questions for us. And also, now, the question for today is, what have you learned? What have you taken on from today's lesson? If there is something you've learned in today's Bible story, please drop it down in the comments, and we will see again in the next session. Thank you very much. Have a lovely time.
It was nice having you around. It was nice. So we see you again next week Sunday.
Please make sure you comment also.
Subscribe. Please subscribe so that this message will go as far as, and then other persons too can hear the gospel of Christ.
All right. Thank you very much. Take care.
See you next time. Bye-bye.